Paltrocast. I'm going to say good morning. Is it good morning where you are as well?
It is. Good morning and almost early afternoon. Where are you based out of?
A couple towns over from where you grew up, Long Beach, Long Island, New York. Are you
Oh,
still
you're in
alive
Long
here
Beach.
these days?
Hey, nice. Where are you in Long Beach?
Along the boardwalk. Now, how far removed are you from your Rockville Center roots? Because when I look you up, it talks about your Brooklyn. You are a Brooklyn artist, but of course, Long Island pride.
Yeah, that's funny because I grew up in Rockville Center. I went to high school in Rockville Center. But the second I could get into Brooklyn and Manhattan, I was just kind of there every weekend, even growing up. And most of my family is all from Brooklyn and Queens. We're the ones in Long Island. So there are strong roots there. But yeah, I think PR likes to run with Brooklyn a bit more than the Rockville Center for sure.
But when you talk about Rockville Center, okay, so Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind takes place in Rockville Center, but we know wasn't filmed there.
Right.
Howard Stern is still dominating Sirius XM. Amy Schumer has that new show on Hulu, which filmed in Long Beach. Max Caster is a wrestling champion who's from Rockville Center, etc. So we
Who's
see
Max
Rockville
Passer?
Center.
I gotta look him
Uh,
up.
Long story short, I mean, Rockville Center is changing the world, but it seems like everyone wanted to distance themselves the second that they could.
Yeah, I think growing up in Long Island, you have this weird thing of like living in the shadow of the city, where
Sure.
you're a New Yorker, but you don't have that city identity. And in a weird way, I find that Long Islanders embrace New York City more than people actually raised in New York City. Because you're just kind of like always in the shadow of it. You're always in awe of it. You always go to it on the weekends, but you don't live there permanently. So it's like a weird relationship Long Islanders have to the city. That's just my take. Yeah.
Well, sorry for all the Long Island talk, but you fall into one of my categories of obsession, which is that people who are from Long Island, but the Long Island music scene doesn't embrace on any level. And you're not the only person who's been associated with the Rolling Stones from Long Island that we don't think of from Long Island. And Andrew Watt would be in that category as well. Is that something you've ever spoken with Andrew Watt about?
No, I've never met him before. But yeah, it's a weird thing with Long Island. I mean, also this amazing pop artist John Bellion is from Long Island as well.
I didn't
And
know he was from Long Island
yeah, he's from Long Island.
because I
And
knew that he played Jones Beach a couple of years ago. And I was going, that's a pretty big gig for a person that the everyday person doesn't know. Now that makes sense why he played Jones Beach.
yeah, no, he's in Long Island. And it's again, it's strange because I spent so much of my childhood playing Long Island, playing rec centers and bars and VFW halls,
Totally.
and just like totally being not embraced in any sort of meaningful way. So that was another reason why I kind of like fled to the city and fled to other places to play shows because I just wasn't in a hardcore or an emo band. And it was very tough to get started there, even though Long Island is like the home of Billy Joel. And it's just so weird that for teenagers a couple years ago, like there was just no other type of music that was allowed.
The last thing I'll say about all that before we talk about how successful and great you are is a lot of the emo punk and hardcore shows that I saw as a teenager, as a college student, were in Rockville Center. They were in this downstairs basement of a
Five
venue.
Lounge.
Yes, before that,
God, played there a
Backstreet
million.
Blues, 60 Below, or something like
Well,
that.
I've played
So
all of them. I've played it in every carnation from I was 13 years old to 22 years old. I played them all.
there was that one, and then there was a second one on the other side of Sunrise Highway that I think was below a sushi restaurant, where I think I saw the third brand new gig. I don't know if you're allowed to say brand new anymore, that name, or we have to wait three
Why
more
not?
years. But again,
That's yeah.
Rockville Center changed the world, and you are one of the artists who's doing it, and you're charting all over the world, etc. So
Thanks.
congrats on all of that. So what's the latest single? What's the single of the moment that we should be focusing upon? Because you've had a few of them.
It's called Eye on the Lightning, and it's at Rock Radio right now, and I'm playing it every single night on tour.
Right. And an interesting thing about your touring is sometimes you're opening for people in stadiums or arenas, and then sometimes you are a headlining artist on theater, smaller theater, huge club kind of shows. So
Mhm.
in your case, you're very adaptable because again, sometimes it's everyone's there to see you, and then sometimes it's a tight 30 that you got to do. Do you like that every gig is totally different?
Yeah, I kind of view them as different art forms, headlining and opening. Like I love headlining. Headlining is everything to me. And even if it's just 250 kids in a basement in Alabama, I'm gonna do 95 minutes and just give it 110% without a doubt. And then opening is different. You have different goals. You know, you're there to kind of win over a bunch of people who ordinarily have no idea who you are. So that's kind of like my shock and awe set. Like if I got 30 or 45, I am coming out so hard and it is not gonna stop until I get dragged off stage. So they're very different goals. Whereas a headline show, I view it as like a movie. You know, it's like very dynamic. I want to have a lot of different emotional beats I want to hit. You know, I want to rock hard, but I also want people to cry and I want people to laugh and have a really good time. So yeah, they're very different kind of shows with very different goals.
Well, very rarely do we see that the lead singer is also a competent guitarist, let alone someone that solos. I'm used to they give Anthony Kiedis the guitar for one song and he hits the A chord and
Yeah.
that's kind of it. So was there any hesitation for you to be out front playing leads and singing? Because most people can't do that. Dave Manichetti does. Not a lot of people can.
Yeah, you know, I'm just like afforded also a certain amount of sloppiness. I'm a very sloppy guitar player. I don't think of myself as a great guitar player. You know, I just use it as like a tool of expression. Um, when I take leads, I'm just kind of going wild and just wailing away. And I just kind of do my thing and use it as a mode of expression. If you're like a metal guy or a real technical player, I'm like your nightmare. You know, like my big inspiration is Prince, you know, and I think just to sustain one note for 20 seconds to me is like 10,000 times more thrilling than somebody arpeggiating and doing crazy scales and shredding. That's kind of like the bucket I put myself in as a guitar player.
Did you graduate to that? Because a lot of people, when they're 13 or 14, I find they learn about the concept of shredding and then they go, it's all about the Yngwie Malmsteen sweeps and the Eddie Van Halen kind of stuff. And then they realize, oh, I can't actually play that. Then they get more into the punk rock. Was that comparable to your musical evolution?
Yeah, perhaps I was just never good enough to do that stuff, and I had way too much ADD to learn it. Like once I got the basics of guitar playing down, I just wanted to write songs. You know, I wanted to be a songwriter. I wanted to like write songs and take people on journeys. And then I was like, oh, you know, also there'd be a great guitar solo here. Let's see what I could do. I have very limited knowledge of scales and things like that. And again, for me, the guitar is more just like a tool of expression, man. It's more like just like this vessel of which to express myself. And if you ask me what note I'm playing at any given time, I have no idea.
Wow, I'm surprised to hear about the bad attention span, given your success as an attorney. And I mentioned that because there's that short list of rockers who can also cut their own deals. It's you, it's John Levin from Dokken, very short list of people.
Oh, Mick Jagger went to London School of Economics, you know? So
Yeah,
Weezer, River Cuomo went to Harvard.
Dan
Uh,
Wilson from Semisonic went to Harvard. There's kind of that list of people who have to downplay that they know what's going on and pretend like they're just stoned like everyone else.
Knowledge is power, man. You know, it's helped me tremendously to just navigate things. So
So do you still look at your own contracts at this point?
no. I don't like to look at any of that stuff. I like to stay singularly focused on making music.
That's a good answer. So what does the next 12 months or so look like for you? And the reason I ask that is sometimes artists know everything 3 years in advance. They do album cycles, but then other artists just go, oh, let's just see how this run goes and how the single goes, and we'll take it from there.
No, I'm not. Let's see how it goes and take it from there. I'm far more long-term thinking in all things Des Rocs, and as far as my career is concerned, I've got a lot of tour announcements coming very, very soon,
Hmm.
both US and international. And I'm very, very excited to announce those and get them on sale. I've also just got an absolute ton of music I've been working on, even though I've done about 100 shows in the last 10 months. Ton of music that I'm just very excited to sink my teeth into and start figuring out how to release it all.
That mix of touring that's coming up, is that a continued mix of big shows and headlining shows?
These will be all headline dates.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, we were gonna be right now. I'm supposed to be on tour with Corey Taylor,
Hmm.
but he canceled the whole tour.
Except the
So
Philippines and Japan. I'm surprised he canceled everything but the biggest travel, the ones that require jet lag.
yeah, I don't know. I don't have a lot of insight onto what happened there.
Right.
So I just hope he's okay, and if he can do those shows, that's amazing. That's great for him. But it actually ended up being there ended up being a bit of a silver lining because I just have had so many ideas I want to work on. So to be home for this month, it's been really a blessing that I can just kind of get back from Europe a few days ago and just really sink my teeth into these new ideas.
It's great to see that you've been able to find success in Europe, because in looking at European tour itineraries, you'll see that usually harder artists, and you'll correct me if I'm wrong here, harder artists do better in UK and Germany, but not necessarily get to the Netherlands or France. It's very divided in terms of which countries you can go to when you're a rocker. The smarty pants kind of stuff might go to the Netherlands and Spain and Italy, that kind of thing. The prog rock stuff generally goes to Greece. Or am I totally wrong and everyone loves Des Rocks everywhere?
I can't speak to other artists' experience in other countries, but man, we just did 12 shows in 14 days in Europe, and every single one was a dream come true. I mean, we sold out 98% of the whole tour and upgraded the rooms several times in a lot of these cities. Did 1,000 tickets in Amsterdam. I thought we would sell maybe 200 tickets in Amsterdam. I didn't know, there's never anybody in my DM saying, come to the Netherlands, come to the Netherlands. I don't see any sort of like groundswell over there. So I was just really blown away by the enthusiasm from every single country. And I'm excited to see what it's like in the rest of the countries that we didn't get to hit this time. I'm really excited about that.
So it sounds like a have guitar will travel scenario. You're willing to go to new markets if they're glad to have you.
Absolutely. Anybody who wants to rock out and come to Des Rock show and have a really spiritual and intense time, like let's do it.
Well, down to three softball questions here before I let you go.
Yeah.
And the first one is, what's the next territory or continent or area that you're hoping to go to that you haven't been to yet?
Definitely South America and Mexico, which is North America, but Mexico and South America, without a doubt. Really would love to go there.
Got it. Next one. What's the last concert that you went to as a fan? Not because you were opening, not because they were going to bring you on stage, but because you went, hey, I'm still a fan. I want to see this.
The Pixies and Modest Mouse at Pier 17 in New York City.
Beautiful venue, right? The best
Yeah,
view of any concert that you'll see in this area.
gorgeous. Yeah, I always think like it's weird that the artists don't get to see that view, you know?
That's a really good point. Even though you're elevated on that stage, you don't get to see any of it.
You don't get to see the bridge. The bridge is behind you. So
Oh,
yeah.
poor guys and girls. Well, anyway, last question. You're busy rocking, as you pointed out, just 100 shows here, 100 shows there, that kind of a thing. When you're not dealing with being a rock star, what's the number two hobby outside of all that?
Oh, family. I don't really view it as a hobby, but just spending time with family, being home, being present in New York City, walking around New York City, just being just like a regular guy walking down the street in Manhattan. That's really my life. And that's kind of like the two things I ping pong between when I'm on tour versus when I'm home and just working on records and just grabbing a slice of pizza in the corner. That's kind of like my existence when I'm home.
So you're not one of the secret hard rock golf people.
No, no, not at all.
There's a
Are there
lot
a
of
lot
them
of
out
them?
there.
I fucking hate golf. I used to caddy in high school, and I've just never resented a group of people or sport more in my entire life. But it was the best job in the world because I could be up at 5 in the morning, home at 8 a.m. with $120, go straight to Guitar Center, buy 2 pedals, and then come back home and play guitar all day. So
Was that one of the Rockville Center Country Club golf courses, or was that the Long Beach Public Course?
no, it was called Seawain, and it was in Hewlett Harbor.
Oh wow. Okay, a little bit of a commute out there to go to the five towns, but
I would drive out there, yeah,
I guess the work ethic has always been there for Des Rocs.
without a doubt, since day one.
Paltrocast.